A Japanese salaryman falls asleep before waking up and finding himself in the body of a 5-year-old noble boy named Wendelin von Benno Baumeister, during the wedding of his oldest brother Kurt and his wife Amelie. Despite being nobles, Wendelin discovers the Baumeisters are poor and only own a small knightdom of farmlands which will be inherited by Kurt, while the rest of his 6 older brothers have either married into other families or found work as government officials or soldiers, leaving him nothing to inherit. After finding a book on magic in his father's library, Wendelin later discovers he has the ability to use magic. While searching for firewood in the nearby enchanted forest for his family, Wendelin meets a sorcerer named Alfred Rainford, who detected the boy's magic, saving him from a wild boar and vows to teach him how to use magic. Wendelin decides to keep his magic secret after learning it would move him ahead of Kurt to inherit the lordship, risking possible assassination by Kurt. Alfred discovers Wendelin has an extraordinarily high magic capacity. As the training continues, Alfred displays unusual symptoms: cold skin, no sense of taste, and bouts of pain. Wendelin's strange behavior draws Kurt's attention until Wendelin announces he wants to be an adventurer, making Kurt less suspicious. The kingdom's Adventurers' Academy is expensive, so Wendelin decides to work to pay his own tuition. To help with traveling, Alfred teaches Wendelin flight magic. Wendelin's father hears a rumor of a whispering dead nearby, a sentient corpse doomed to become a mindless zombie. Wendelin realizes that he means Alfred and confronts him. Alfred admits he is dead due to a failed expedition but came back as a whispering dead to pass on his knowledge to an apprentice. Having done so, he teaches Wendelin holy magic to purge him and let him pass to the afterlife. 7 years later, Wendelin leaves his family to become an adventurer. At Adventurers' Academy, Wendelin tries to make friends, but due to his lack of communication skills, high level of magic, and incredible actions, the rest of the students are too afraid to approach him. 3 students, Erwin, Louise, and Ina, share a bond over being the youngest children of lower-class families. Wanting to gain Wendelin's recognition to form a party with him, they attempt to hunt a large pack of wolves but are overwhelmed until Wendelin rescues them. Due to a misunderstanding, the 3 believe Wendelin sees them as a burden when in reality he wants to be friends with them. Their class attends a party hosted by Duke Bleichroder, who takes an interest in Wendelin as Wendelin's father is a vassal of Bleichroder. Wendelin asks Erwin, Louise, and Ina to join him, much to their surprise. They learn Bleichroder brought them to meet his court wizard Brantak Lingstad, Alfred's former teacher, who confirms his suspicions that Alfred passed his knowledge to Wendelin. Realizing that Wendelin is the same as them, Erwin, Louise, and Ina agree to be Wendelin's friends and form an adventuring party. For returning Alfred's possessions and the expedition's resources to Bleichroder, Wendelin is rewarded 1,000 gold coins and inherits Alfred's estate, much to everyone's surprise. Wendelin and his friends are invited to his brother Eric's wedding in the kingdom's capital. An undead bone dragon attacks their airship, so Brantak has Wendelin purge the dragon with holy magic before collecting the valuable bones and crystal heart. In the capital city of Stuttgart, Brantak leaves them with his merchant friend Araturio Merkin. Soldiers take Wendelin to meet the king, who rewards him for defeating the bone dragon with the twin dragon medal and the noble rank of baronet, making Wendelin one of the nobles of the robe. Eric worries as their father is only a knight, meaning Wendelin will be removed from their family tree to become head of his own noble family. Several officials begin arguing how much to pay Wendelin for the bones and heart. Araturio explains that Cardinal Hohenheim wants Wendelin under the church's influence, Lord Marshal Edgar wants him for the military, and Lord Commissioner Ruckner wants to save money. In the end, Wendelin is paid 150,000 gold. Wendelin attends Eric's wedding but finds his family is so poor they cannot provide a suitable wedding present, embarrassing themselves and their lord, Duke Bleichroder, so Wendelin buys the presents. Araturio manages to find Wendelin the konkuji he had been looking for to make miso, which he uses to make dinner for his family and friends. Cardinal Hohenheim informs his granddaughter, Saint Elise Hohenheim, he has found her a suitable husband. Hohenheim introduces Wendelin to Elise, then, due to his naivete, tricks Wendelin into forming a political marriage with Elise. Wendelin panics at the idea of marrying a woman he doesn't love but is later assured by Eric that nobles rarely meet their betrothed until the wedding. As he is swarmed by unemployed adventurers every time he leaves his home, he hires a grateful Erwin as his retainer. Wendelin sneaks into Hohenheim's estate to talk to Elise, and is relieved that she is at least not against marrying him. When Louise and Lena find Erwin is Wendelin's retainer, they decide to outdo him by becoming Wendelin's mistresses after he marries Elise. Wendelin is invited to dinner with Elise, where the butler suggests Wendelin provide Elise an engagement ring. Wendelin takes Elise shopping, but rather than a showy ring, Wendelin purchases a much plainer ring that suits Elise better, learning afterward it is made from a magic storing crystal, making it perfect for Elise's healing magic. Wendelin tells her he is worried about living up to his dragon-slaying reputation when he is still unsure of himself. Elise begins to develop a crush on him. The butler reports to Hohenheim that Wendelin is an unusual noble, and he has no idea what his thoughts are. Meanwhile, it is shown the only thing on Wendelin's mind is how much he misses Japanese soy sauce. Elise visits Louise, Lena, and Erwin to learn exactly what sort of man Wendelin is, while the king asks Wendelin and Brandak to slay an ancient dragon, Gregorland, as the kingdom needs his territory for farmland. He also sends Klimt Christoph von Armstrong, his enthusiastic and brawny court wizard. Meanwhile, as the death of Gregorland could cause nearby monsters to grow bolder, Erwin, Louise, and Lena hire the unemployed adventurers to help guard the area with Elise and the church's clergy as their healers. Wendelin and Armstrong defeat Gregorland and Wendelin collect the valuable body. Sensing Gregorland's death, the monsters attack the soldiers, forcing Wendelin and his friends to join the battle. Elise, knowing Wendelin considers himself cowardly but joins the battle anyway, is relieved he is a truly good man and finally passes out from exhaustion after he returns safely. Wendelin looks after her until she awakens, only to learn Armstrong is her uncle. The next day Elise asks if Louise and Lena are also his fiancées since they all live in the same house, which Wendelin is surprised to learn she does not mind if he has concubines. At the wedding of his brother, Helmut, Wendelin learns he is expected to participate in a martial arts tournament, but as a noble, he must use a sword instead of magic. Louise and Lena decide to participate as well. Erwin is convinced to participate by Brandak. Wendelin obtains permission from Hohenheim to add Elise to their party. Erwin decides he wants to become champion, until realizing the previous champion, Warren, commander of the Royal Knights, is participating again and snaps at Louise and Lena due to his bitterness of having no magic. The next day he learns Elise has also been training, believing her lack of physical ability makes her a hindrance. Realizing everyone has some weaknesses, Erwin apologizes. During the preliminary matches, Wendelin faces Warren and loses instantly. Louise is defeated in the semifinals. Lena goes up against Rodrich, an annoyingly stubborn spear user obsessed with being hired by Wendelin, and loses against him. Erwin must face Warren and worries if he loses Wendelin will remove him from their party, so Louise shows him an inspirational lunch Wendelin made, proving Wendelin values him for more than his fighting skills. Though it is implied Erwin lost against Warren, Warren agrees to become Erwin's trainer until he reaches 15 and becomes a full-time adventurer. Lena also finds a spear trainer while Louise introduces Wendelin to her martial arts trainer, Armstrong, who offers to train them until they reach 15. 3 years later Kurt, Wendelin's eldest brother, receives a letter from Baron Ruckner, Lord Commissioner Ruckner's brother, that Wendelin has died. 5 days previously, Wendelin finally turns 15 and registers their adventure party as the Dragon Busters, so the king sends them to investigate ancient ruins. Brandak explains the ruins were discovered in Gregorland's territory, and many high-ranking adventurers have disappeared. Upon entering they accidentally activate a magic circle that transports them to the bottom floor, meaning they must fight their way to the surface past an army of golems. 5 days later head auditor Ruckner spreads rumors Wendelin has died, and as part of his plot to replace his brother as Lord Commissioner, he suggests Kurt's sons inherit Wendelin's title of Baron. Still unsure how far they have to climb, Elise tells Wendelin she hopes they survive or she will regret not having married him. They encounter a dragon golem with mithril scales. Brantak runs out of magic and collapses, so Elise grants Wendelin the spell Miracle's Light through a kiss, and Wendelin defeats the dragon. Brantak learns the ruins were built by the ancient mage Count Ichelberg, famous for his work creating magic items. They also discover a vast library and a hangar filled with priceless ancient airships. Owen opens the hangar doors, showing they have made it to the surface. For the ruins' treasures, the king pays the dragon busters 10 million gold. Wendelin decides to move their home to Brachberg to set up their adventuring careers, but Armstrong reveals the rumors about Wendelin's death, causing him to realize their success has attracted enemies. Baron Ruckner and his allies begin planning Wendelin's assassination. Wendelin hires Rodrich as his butler to handle the estate in the capital, while a pink-haired girl named Wilma begins following Wendelin. Wendelin meets the Magic Guild's leader, Lucas Gotts Beckenbauer, and borrows an artifact that summons any item. Wendelin throws a party for his friends and family, and important nobles, and serves them his summoned tuna sushi with soy sauce. Rodrich tells Wendelin about Ruckner, including his attempt to include Kurt in his plot, but assures Wendelin he has arranged for Ruckner to be summoned by the king for questioning, while also admitting he is Ruckner's illegitimate son but hates him for his cruelty. Wilma bursts into the party for the tuna, and Lord Marshal Edgar reveals Wilma is his adopted daughter, and she suffers from hero syndrome, which, according to Brantak, constantly overpowers her muscles, resulting in a vast appetite. Edgar offers Wendelin Wilma as a bodyguard or even a wife if he wants. Duke Bleichroder asks Wendelin to take on job hunting monsters. Meanwhile, Kurt receives the fake news about Wendelin's death and laughs with joy at inheriting Wendelin's wealth, only for Wendelin and all his friends to teleport outside, revealing Wendelin's survival. Brantak explains to Wendelin's father, Sir Arthur, that the deceased expedition army, which Alfred Rainford was part of, are now zombies. As the zombies are on their land, Arthur is entitled to 30% of any profit gained from the zombies' materials, but Kurt greedily demands 50% and tries to insist the zombies and their belongings be left in the forest instead of being given proper funerals. Wendelin realizes Kurt's animosity and jealousy towards his success and is hated by the servants and villagers, who would prefer Wendelin inherit the lordship. Wendelin and his friends purify the zombies, including Duke Bleichroder's father, and even the Lich grandfather of Marlene, the wife of Wendelin's brother Herman. Wendelin assures Marlene her grandfather had a happy life, so she gratefully allows Elise to purify him. Wendelin returns the armor of the villagers' relatives to them for funerals, but then Kurt demands the armor be melted down and reused. Wendelin provides new iron so the villagers can keep the armor, though this only angers Kurt. Duke Bleichroder surprises Wendelin by insisting he stay with his family for a while, though it is clear he is plotting something. Wendelin attends the soldiers' funerals, whereas Kurt insults the villagers by remaining absent. Klaus, the village chief, secretly asks Wendelin to replace Kurt, and Brantak agrees, pointing out that through Bleichroder's insistence Wendelin stays with his family. The entire royal court, including the king, implicitly want Wendelin to replace Kurt. Brantak explains the king wants to develop the surrounding land but is unable due to the current land-owning and low-ranking lords, like Sir Arthur. Instead, the royal court has been secretly driving Kurt mad with jealousy over Wendelin, so that when he snaps he will be removed as heir. Wendelin refuses to participate as it would also mean disinheriting his nephews. Klaus warns Brantak to be wary of Amelie, Kurt's wife, who will try to protect her sons at all costs. Wendelin learns Kurt will be assassinated after Wendelin becomes lord to prevent him from causing trouble in the future.